Welcome back to iReview. Today we are examining 5 rifles through the lens of uncompromising retail data. And the platform holding the #1 position in 2025 is going to make the established market quite uncomfortable. These are not the models driven by viral aesthetics or multi-million-dollar ad campaigns. This is pure market reality. When buyers approach the counter to make a substantial investment, all opinions and brand biases fade away. Purchasing power reveals true preference. In this video, we will deconstruct all 5 models. We will examine their specifications, their real-world utility, their engineering triumphs, and their inherent flaws. Let me assure you right now, if you assume the best-selling spot belongs to a lightweight mountain rifle loaded with unnecessary features, you are in for a surprise. Stay with us as we uncover the data. Number 5. Savage 110 Ultralite. The Pragmatic Mountain Hunter's Review. Let's cut through the brand loyalty theater and flashy ad campaigns. When you look at the hard retail data for 2025, hunters are voting with real dollars, and sitting at the number 5 spot for best-selling hunting rifles is the Savage 110 Ultralite. This placement makes complete sense the second you understand the grueling reality of the backcountry hunting market. From an objective standpoint, the defining characteristic of this rifle is its ghost-like carry weight of exactly 5 8/85 pounds. To put that in perspective, a loaded 32-ounce Nalgene water bottle weighs more than the weight gap between this Savage and most of its competitors. The centerpiece making this drastic weight reduction possible is the Proof Research carbon fiber wrapped barrel. By wrapping carbon fiber around a steel liner, Savage delivers the rigidity, harmonic consistency, and tighter groups of a heavy-profile barrel without the crushing steel weight penalty. As an added mechanical benefit, this barrel also bleeds off heat faster than solid steel, which matters when you need quick follow-up shots. The action features a spiral fluted bolt body that shaves off a bit of rotational weight while helping to clear out field debris from the flutes. Furthermore, the AccuTrigger is shooter adjustable from 1.5 to 4 pounds using just basic hand tools. Moving into a more subjective assessment of how it actually feels in the field, this rifle shines exactly where it is meant to. When you are covering serious elevation in Colorado elk country or chasing Montana mule deer, that weight difference isn't about comfort. It is pure survival capacity. Every ounce you save on the rifle is an ounce of water, food, or emergency gear you can pack instead. At its lighter settings, the trigger breaks cleanly with zero mushy travel, an absolute blessing when your heart rate is already elevated from a brutal climb. Paired with its primary chamberings, which lean heavily toward efficient rounds like the .270 Winchester and .65 Creedmoor, the rifle makes a 400-yard shot in calm conditions feel highly attainable. However, this is a stripped-down mountain tool, not a pristine bench gun, and my personal critique is that you have to accept its inherent compromises. The polymer stock feels distinctly hollow, and if you lean hard into a bipod, you will absolutely feel the stock flex. Additionally, the factory-fresh bolt cycle has a noticeable roughness to it. It certainly won't remind you of a buttery smooth CZ550, though it does smooth out after cycling a few hundred rounds. You also have to keep in mind that chambering options within this specific ultralight family are somewhat limited, and opting for magnum calibers drops your capacity down to just 2 rounds. When it comes to the price, Savage hits a very sweet spot. While carbon fiber barrels and specialized lightweight hunting rigs usually cost a small fortune, the 110 Ultralite gives you genuine sub-MOA mechanical accuracy, a premium Proof Research barrel, and a shooter adjustable trigger at a price that doesn't require a payment plan. None of its ergonomic shortcomings are deal breakers given the rifle's strict intended purpose. It is not meant to be a luxurious range toy. If your primary requirement is a highly capable, precision-driven rifle that practically disappears on your shoulder during a multi-day packout, the Savage 110 Ultralite absolutely earns its spot in your safe. Number 4. Tikka T3X Lite. The Practical Hunter's Review. The 2025 retail data doesn't lie, and sitting comfortably at the number 4 spot for best-selling hunting rifles is the Tikka T3X Lite. It has been moving consistently off gun counters all year, and the reason for its success is incredibly straightforward. From a purely objective standpoint, the T3X Lite hits a performance-to-weight balance that very few factory rifles can match. Clocking in at exactly 6.5 pounds, it sits right in the practical middle ground. The real story here is the cold hammer forged barrel. This forging process compresses and aligns the steel grain structure around the bore, producing a barrel with exceptional consistency from shot to shot. Chamberings range widely from .223 Remington all the way up through .300 Winchester Magnum, maintaining the same barrel quality throughout. Mechanically, the rifle features a 70-degree bolt throw and a trigger that can be adjusted between 2 and 4 pounds. Subjectively, that 6.5-pound weight means it is genuinely light enough for all-day carry, yet heavy enough that you aren't fighting the rifle itself when you actually shoot. The 70-degree bolt throw has a massive practical impact. Your hand clears the scope objective easily during the cycle, even when wearing thick gloves, which noticeably drops your follow-up time compared to a standard 90-degree throw. The ergonomics are dialed in for real-world conditions. The synthetic stock features an asymmetrical grip texture that actively locks your hand in place. A small but brilliant detail is the foam insert, teacup put inside the rear stock to kill the hollow resonance. This makes the rifle feel far more substantial than its carry weight suggests. On top of that, the trigger outperforms most drop-in aftermarket replacements that cost twice as much. Out on the range, this all translates directly to tight groups. Shooting half-inch groups at 100 yards with quality ammunition is a real expectation, not just marketing copy. However, no rifle is flawless, and my personal assessment requires pointing out the reality of its limitations. The factory rubber butt pad is exceptionally stiff, and if you're running heavy magnums, your shoulder will absolutely feel it by the end of a range session. Furthermore, that slim barrel profile will start to string shots if you push it through a rapid-firing sequence, because it heat soaks faster than a heavier contour. Field logistics also present a couple of hiccups. The rifle ships with only one front sling swivel, meaning running both a bipod and a sling requires an aftermarket trip. Additionally, the proprietary polymer magazines have a documented history of cracking and feed lips after hard field use. As for the price, the value proposition is outstanding. It delivers high-end performance without requiring custom rifle money. If you want world-class barrel quality in a field-ready package, the T3X Lite is a legitimate answer. It is a pragmatic, highly capable tool built for hunters who value precision, handling, and consistency over flashy features or brand theater. Number 3. Ruger American Rifle, the uncompromising budget workhorse. Coming in at number 3, the Ruger American tells you something important about the 2025 hunting market. Hunters are sophisticated enough to separate price from performance. At under $500 at most retailers, that price point sounds like a compromise, but the performance says otherwise. The rifle weighs in at a manageable 6 2/10 pounds. Mechanically, it features a free-floated barrel, meaning there is no contact between the barrel and stock anywhere forward of the receiver, that consistently prints 1-inch, 3-shot groups. The bolt runs a 3-lug design with a 70-degree lift, providing the same excellent scope clearance advantage as much pricier options like the Tikka. Furthermore, factory threads are now standard on most production models, so your muzzle device or suppressor mounts on day one. Out in the field, the ergonomics and ruggedness genuinely shine. The tang safety placement makes it genuinely ambidextrous and fast to disengage as the gun comes up. But the engineering detail that truly separates this from other budget-tier rifles is the power bedding system. Ruger molded stainless steel V-blocks directly into the polymer stock, meaning the receiver sits firmly in those metal blocks rather than just resting in molded plastic. That is a bedding solution you typically find on mid-tier to high-tier rifles, and it is exactly why this gun maintains zero after abuse that would send other budget platforms back to the gunsmith. Add in a flush-fitting 4-round rotary magazine with no protrusion to snag your gear, and a Cerakote finish on all metal surfaces that handles blood, rain, and years of truck bed riding without complaint, and you have a highly capable tool. No rifle is perfect, and I always look at the honest problems. First, the forend lacks stiffness. A hard bipod load can actually push it into barrel contact, which completely kills your free float advantage. Additionally, the bolt makes an audible sound when cycling dry, though this noise disappears once it is lubed. You should also know it comes with no iron sights from the factory and carries slightly more bulk than the dedicated mountain rifle sitting above it on this list. The verdict here is simple. Nothing else on the market gives you this level of mechanical performance per dollar. If your budget is a real constraint and you still want a serious hunting rifle, this is the answer. Number 2. Browning X-Bolt Speed, the purpose-built fast-action review. Sitting at number 2 on the 2025 bestseller list, the Browning X-Bolt Speed is a rifle that is purpose-built for a very specific type of hunter. If that description fits your style, it is genuinely hard to argue against putting this in your safe. Looking at the hard numbers, this rifle weighs in at an optimized 6.5 pounds and features a 22-inch fluted sporter barrel. The dominant chamberings for this model are the heavy-hitting 7mm PRC and .300 Winchester Magnum, both of which deliver serious terminal performance at range. Mechanically, it boasts Browning's 60-degree bolt-on lock, a DLX trigger pack that adjusts between 3 and 5 pounds with zero mechanical creep, and a rotary polymer magazine featuring center axis feeding for clean chambering. For durability and weather resistance, you get full Cerakote coverage on both the barreled action and the bolt. Out in the woods, this rifle shines exactly where it is supposed to. It is highly optimized for fast shooting, rapid follow-up shots, running targets, and close to mid-range hunting scenarios. That 60-degree bolt throw is genuinely the fastest in its category. Your hand barely moves as the action cycles, putting you right back on target in a flash. The ergonomics are meticulously dialed in for field conditions. The composite stock comes wrapped in Browning's OVIX camo pattern and features a rubberized soft-touch finish. From a practical standpoint, this finish actively absorbs sound when you brush against branches, a detail not found on most rifles, but one that absolutely matters when stalking. Furthermore, the Inflex recoil pad is geometrically angled to pull the comb away from your cheekbone upon firing, which noticeably reduces felt face slap when shooting heavy magnums. Paired with the standard radial muzzle brake, it cuts felt recoil substantially, allowing you to actually spot your own impacts downrange. However, my personal critique requires pointing out a few logistical hurdles. First, Browning uses a non-standard thread pitch on certain barrel profiles, which will create suppressor adapter headaches if you plan to run a can. Additionally, the length of pull is completely fixed, offering no adjustment for different shooter sizes. Finally, physics still apply. Pushing heavy magnum loads through a light 6.5-pound gun, even with an advanced recoil pad and a brake, will still have a cumulative fatiguing effect during a long day at the range. Regarding price, the cost directly reflects the extensive feature set, meaning you are definitely paying a premium over the budget and mid-tier rifles sitting below it on this list. If you want a fast, highly aggressive rifle that comes ready for a suppressor and looks like it costs twice as much, this is your rifle. Number 1. Winchester Modi 70 Extreme Weather SS, the undisputed king of reliability. Here is the thing nobody expected from the 2025 retail data. The number 1 best-selling hunting rifle in America outsold everything else on the market, using a design that traces its roots back to 1936. Once you truly understand why, the surprise completely fades. We are living in a market flooded with push-feed bolt actions, which are cheaper and lighter. But the Winchester Model 70 takes a completely different path. From a mechanical standpoint, the specs reflect a pure durability focus. It weighs in at a hefty 7.5 pounds and features a 24-inch fluted barrel. Instead of a modern push-feed system, it utilizes a Moser-style controlled round feed extractor. The moment a cartridge strips from the magazine, a massive steel claw captures the case rim immediately and maintains that grip through the entire chambering cycle. The action sits perfectly inside a Bell & Carlson composite stock that features a full-length aircraft-grade aluminum bedding block running through the entire length of the action channel, ensuring your zero does not shift. The MOA trigger breaks at exactly 3.5 pounds with absolutely no slack. To top it off, it features a permacoat matte finish that eliminates glare and blocks moisture, and it is chambered primarily in heavy-hitting 30-06 Springfield and 300 Winchester Magnum with a sub-MOA accuracy guarantee straight from the factory. Out in the wild, this rifle is a sheer tank, built for the worst scenarios imaginable. While push-feed designs can introduce variables under mud, cold, or unusual shooting positions, the Model 70 refuses to fail. You can cycle this bolt in any orientation, upside down, at an angle, under miserable field conditions, and it feeds and extracts without a single issue. The 3-position wing safety on the bolt shroud is an incredible field feature, allowing you to lock the firing pin while still opening the bolt to safely unload a live round, which is critical when crossing dangerous obstacles. For hunters going after bear, elk, or moose in serious, unforgiving country, that level of reliability isn't just a preference. It is an absolute requirement. It is built to outlast the hunter who buys it. As for my personal critique, you have to acknowledge the trade-offs of this bomb-proof design. At 7.5 pounds, it is the heaviest rifle on this list by a meaningful margin. It is also known to be quite selective about bullet weights, meaning you will need to spend time testing several loads to find exactly what your specific barrel shoots best. Finally, from a tactical or rapid reload perspective, the hinged floor plate is noticeably slower to reload under pressure compared to modern detachable box magazines. Stainless steel machined to these exacting tolerances costs money, making this the most expensive factory hunting rifle on the list. However, the sales data speaks for itself. American hunters in 2025 actively chose reliability, longevity, and field-proven design over trendy feature lists and weight savings. The Model 70 Extreme Weather SS will function perfectly when conditions are at their absolute worst, and that uncompromising dependability is exactly why it is number one. In the end, each of these rifles secured its rank not by hype, but by delivering tangible results when the elements push back. Now the question goes to you. Drop into the comments and tell me about your specific terrain. Are you pushing vertical miles in the backcountry where every ounce matters, or are you facing down brutal weather systems where uncompromising reliability is your only priority? Share your situation with us. I read every comment, and your reality actively shapes our editorial calendar. If you appreciated this data-driven approach, hit like and subscribe. Next on the schedule is an in-depth evaluation of suppressed hunting configurations, building right off what we uncovered today with the X-Bolt and the American. You won't want to miss it. Stay sharp and stay safe out there.